Did you get involved in any of the PPP, helping people with PPP?
You know, I went through the whole training. When I got to the very end, I told myself, Bill, I think it'd be better for you to give these people to someone else. I thought that money was not reasonable enough.
They didn't pay out those commissions you want, the bigger commissions.
Yeah. So, I said, I don't, I went through all that training and
because
love the
Bill Hubbard can't be bothered with anything less than 6 or 7 zeros. Is that correct?
I said, man, I ain't gonna deal with that. I ain't gonna deal with that. Yeah, but it was good.
I love it. At least you're honest. There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. You know, people always say, Chris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words, hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Entrepreneurs in Finance, where we explore the daily lives of CCTG graduates, lenders, and beyond. And before I begin this, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can see daily, monthly interviews of CCTG graduates and other content. So with that being said, I am so proud, delighted, happy, elated. There's not enough words to describe what I'm about to get into to interview this graduate. And I'm going to introduce him like this. So I am very proud to introduce to everybody the world famous, undisputed heavyweight champ of CCTG. He's an OG. Okay, let's just say that he's an OG of CCTG, Mr. William Hubbard of First Merchant Financial Services.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
How'd you like that intro?
That was fantastic. It was one extra great that you're supposed to put in there, though.
Okay. All right. So I missed out on a couple extra grades. All right. Bill, my friend, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a while.
I know.
You're always in my thoughts. You're always in my thoughts.
Thank you. You know what? It's been amazing. Actually, I had some surgery done earlier this summer.
Well, okay. Everything good?
So I'm recovering from that surgery, but business is going well. I just added a new guy in Philadelphia that I had met probably 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an office now in Houston, Texas. And then I got a guy in Atlanta, Georgia. So outside of that health thing, I've been doing pretty good.
You're crushing it. Yeah. Now, I remember when you came through here back in 2011. So you're an OG by standards.
Yeah.
You didn't have a beard. What's going on here? Is this COVID? Is this that COVID look or what? Is this COVID?
Yeah, this is interesting. I got my vaccine shot back in January. February, me and my wife, and we're waiting to get our booster shot.
Okay. All right.
So this summer, I don't know what it was. I started growing this little beard, and everybody started saying, "Man, Bill, that looks good." I said, "Really?" So,
it makes you look more. I think it makes you look more distinguished. You're like a professor. Yeah. Should I call you Dr. Bill Hubbard right now?
Call me doctor.
I'll call you Dr. Bill. All right. So, as always a pleasure, Bill. I enjoyed the relationship we've had over the years. I still talk about you to CCTG graduates, believe it or not, every month about how animated you are and just a great overall individual. So let's take it back a little bit for some of our viewers. Sure. So tell me about, how did you find CCTG? What were you doing back in those days? 2010, 2000? Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that? I was already in the bank card business. I had been in the bank card business for probably 9 to 10 years. And I met a young lady from Baltimore, and she came in and she said, "Mr. Hubbard, I like what you do." So I said, well, I'll train you. And when you go back to Baltimore, you'll be ready to be a bank card agent. Well, on her way back to Baltimore, she went to Atlanta, Georgia. And back then, you had an office in Atlanta, Georgia. I can't remember that
Yeah.
guy. I can't remember.
Gary Barnett. Yeah, God rest his soul. Gary Barnett.
Right. So she went, I don't know who told her, but she met that guy and she told him about me and she told me about him. And so I called him and she said, well, look, she said, Bill, I'll pay half, you know, if you want me to.
Right.
Well, when she found out it was more than half or more than what she wanted to pay, she said, I don't think I want to pay half of that. So if you remember, my accountant of all people came with me.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah. And he came and he was, mainly he was there for churches.
Right.
And at that time, y'all had nobody. It was funny. He learned all this stuff, but nothing about church. And so we came back home, and I was excited. I had been wanting to find something different rather than just the bank. Bank card was good to me. Bank card helped me put 3 of my kids through college. So the money was good. But the commercial aspect was something that I really was happy about.
I remember when I was, and I remember when I was teaching class, specifically every product we went over, you were like, man,
yes,
like,
I
can't believe this. I remember each product, each day that went past, you were excited. I remember that.
Yeah, it was just exciting. I call home every day, tell my wife, I learned something new today.
So, all right, you get back to class, or you get back to home after class. Tell me about that first year. Tell me about that first year.
You know, the first year was real interesting because I remember, I think I still got some of the files, I don't know, but I must have had about a dozen deals come across my desk. The thing that my wife was surprised at, though, was that we got 20 million, 10 million. I mean, it was amazing how we got these different deals, but for some reason, it always would come up at the very end. We did 1 or 2, but I was thinking we would do 100 million. And I think we probably did about maybe 5, but I remember I called you because I had one guy, I think it was $25 million. Yeah, it was $25 million or something to that effect. And man, I was so mad when I told the guy I knew all about that area. It was in Atlanta, Georgia. And I called, you gave me the company to call, and I called those people and they were very excited about it. But this guy had no down payment.
No money. Yeah.
Oh, I was to my wife, I said, I was just so mad. I thought she was gonna beat me upside the head.
Well, and that's great, because now you're a veteran, obviously, but that tell me, I mean, there's guys out there that will talk a big game, but when it comes down to it, they don't have a cent in the bank. I mean, that's just the reality.
You know what, Chris? That's the part that's, even till today, it's still mind-boggling that somebody will pick up the phone, call our office, or call any office for that matter,
right,
and ask for $10 million, and they ain't got $5,000. I don't understand it.
I know. It's weird. It is weird. I've been in this 22 years, and I don't even still understand it today. I don't know what makes individuals do that. It's just...
I know. Yeah, it's shocking.
Shocking.
I tell you what, though, it's interesting you said that. I got an interesting call last night because, as you know, after I left your school, it took about maybe a couple of years or so that me and my accountant, we did find a bank that wanted to help us with the churches. And then finally, we got involved in the churches. Well, last night, I got a church last night that called me that want me to do a refi here in North Carolina for $11 million.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was amazing. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. So, but I've been happy. It's been good.
It's been good. Yeah. You know, what's great too is everybody that interacts with you here. Alex, your buddy Alex says hi, by the way.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. That's
Your
good.
buddy Alex says hi, and everybody enjoys when you call, and we look forward to always everybody here looks forward to talking to you. And
Thank
that's why I was so excited to talk to you. So tell me about the progression of your business. I mean, you've been,
you. Yeah.
what have you really been focusing on? Churches, we know that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, believe it or not, the first, I'll probably say the first 3 or 4 years
Mm-hmm.
after I left the school, I
Mm-hmm.
was about maybe 60% MCAs, which I had already was familiar with before coming there,
Right.
and then 40% commercial after leaving there. Well, now I do very few MCAs at all.
Mm-hmm.
I went straight. I digressed straight into commercial. The $5 million and the $10 million and 12. I mean, I've had my share of $25 million deals come across my desk. That if we had just got a fourth of them approved, I wouldn't be talking to you now. I'd be in the island somewhere.
So you went from MCAs to chasing. I should just call you the $1 million man.
That's right,
Man,
man. I
it
tell
seems
you,
like you don't want to do anything if it doesn't have 6 or 7 zeros.
I just told my wife, cause my wife she always bugged me. She said, "Well, wait a minute, what about them MCA?" I said, "I don't want them 50,000 to 20,000."
uh,
But no, we've been humbly blessed with some deals. Like I said, what I got last night, that was really amazing because it's a $17 million church.
God bless you.
And so I told my wife, I said, if I get this, I'm gonna go up to Albany, kiss Chris, and say goodbye.
I'll buy you lunch. I
All
will
right,
at
that's
least
right,
buy you lunch. Yeah,
that's
lunch
right.
is not me.
Yeah.
So you just when we sat down, you were talking about you got some people on board. You got people
Yeah,
now. Tell me about that. Tell me about that strategy. I mean, we
yeah.
taught it in class, but sounds like you got some people now underneath you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been very blessed over the last, I'll say 5, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
What I did was I came up with a strategy. I knew a lot of people already, so since I knew a lot of people, I
Mm-hmm.
would talk to them about working with me part time, sometime, that type of thing.
Right.
Well, I knew that if I could get someone to get a loan and they make, $2,000 or $3,000
Yep.
or what have you,
Mm-hmm.
they might say, "Well, Bill, I might want to do this more often."
Mm-hmm.
And so then my wife said, "Well, why don't you do it like we had with our cleaning company that we used to own?"
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Find you somebody that will believe in it up front and let them pay a small fee to become an agent, and you split everything 50-50." I
Right.
said, "You know what? That's a good idea." So I got a guy out of Atlanta. I got a guy out of Houston, Texas. I got a guy out of Oklahoma. I mean,
Wow.
and then I got this guy out of. So what I did was I duplicated myself
Mm-hmm.
probably half a dozen times. That's
You
what I
have to do that to grow. Yeah.
did. Yeah. And that's what it happened. So I might have 6 offices, but I got probably 20 people
Right.
indirectly between those offices.
Now, how do you manage? Now, I know how you would do it because we taught it, but like I'm
Right.
asking you, how do you get along managing all those people? You got to crack the whip once in a while.
You know what? It's been interesting. Uh, the people that I recruited, most of them are already retired. That's
Okay.
the part. Because I got a retired banker
Mm-hmm.
in one office, I got a retired professor in another office, and I got a retired church leader in another office. So all of these people are either 50, 55 or older, about my age, and they like what they do. They're not needing no money. So I don't have to crack the whip very much. Every
But
now and then I'll tell them I'm gonna report them to you, but that's straight. That's straight.
but I assume they come with networks, right?
They do.
These guys probably have networks that can feed you
Right.
deals, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Most, I think each one of these guys, when they first joined, and most of them have been with me for a couple of years. That's the part that's amazing.
Right.
And so when they came, they started hitting their network. One guy, I really was hurt. My former banker out of Florida, he actually had 3 deals that first week he was with us.
Mm.
And I mean, I never understood this, and I learned this from Mark Falzone. You know Mark?
I know, Mark.
Yep. So me and Mark, in about a 45-day, maybe 60-day period, he approved 3 deals for me.
Yep.
3.
Yep.
And when we got down to it, each one of the people talking about they didn't want to pay a fee, and they got talking about. I said, "Wait a minute, sir." I said, "I don't think Mr. Falzone approved this deal only because he wanted your money."
Yeah. Yeah.
And me and Mark talked about that for a long time. I mean, he's probably done. Oh shoot, I know he's done 15, at least 15 deals for us.
Yeah.
Through the years.
Well, people don't realize that, you gotta pay for things. You gotta lenders charge fees to pay for these big appraisals. And, these guys think they're going to walk into a deal with nothing. Don't have to do anything. And that's just not how the real world works,
Oh, let me tell you, I talked to a guy Monday this week who wanted to borrow $16 million. But he said, "Mr. Hubbard, now I'm not paying you no upfront fee." His son emailed me yesterday, said, "Now look, we ain't paying no fees." I said, "Sir, how do you expect somebody to loan you $16 million,
right?
And you don't have nothing in the deal, nothing."
Right.
I mean,
right.
It's ridiculous, Chris. I like I said, I don't understand it. I told my wife, Mark Falzone was the first one that told me. He said, "Bill, you got to stop doing these deals with these people if they don't want to pay." I'll never forget that. I bet you for 5 years after I left the school,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't charge anything. I didn't charge nothing, because I heard this room about, meetings and money. Mark told me, said, "Bill, you better stop doing this, because that's what's happening. You're getting good people. They want to borrow money, but they ain't got no money, and you ain't charging no money. So guess what? It's just a waste of time."
Yeah. So let me just ask you a couple of highlights here. What's the biggest deal you've worked on in terms of dollar amount?
Well,
largest deal you've worked on?
Actually, believe it or not, Mark and I did one for $60 million.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This guy was going to buy all this property in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, I'll never forget that. Mm-hmm. That was amazing. He was going to build this. He was going to make Atlanta the Hollywood of the East Coast.
Okay.
I mean, and I knew exactly where the property was. I had did a deal. We had closed a deal down there for like $3.5 million. Mm-hmm. And the area was about a mile. It wasn't very far from where this guy was. Oh man, it was just amazing. But that $60 million was the only one that was the largest. I've had several at $25 million though.
Right. Yeah.
$60 million is the largest that I worked on.
I probably already know the answer to this question, but what don't you like about this business?
Oh man, Chris, I hate you. I thought you'd never ask. No, man, let me tell you something. I've had people ask me, when was I going to retire? I said, retire to what?
Right.
I said, look, if I stay home, my wife gonna beat me upside the head. So I got to get out of the house.
You got to get out of the house for a little bit.
I said, I like this. I got my own office building. I got my own space. I ain't got to worry about nothing. I said, look, I ain't got to worry about the COVID, hopefully. Yep. I said, because I don't go to nobody's office and don't nobody come to my office. I handle everything by the telephone. So, hey, I just love this industry, man. It's been the most interesting thing. Truthfully, and I'm not bragging, but if like I said, if a small portion of what we have done was approved and had gone through the system, I'm not kidding. You'd be taking me to dinner in New York, in Albany, because I'll be visiting you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's been fun. It's been fun.
Yeah. No. And I think so. What do you think it takes to be success? Obviously, after class, you've been very successful. You got a great personality, and I think stamina for this business. But what do you think? People looking into this, what do you think it takes to be successful in this business?
You know, I'm glad you asked that, because you remember, I think I told you at the last meeting, whenever we had together, that a lot of people, I've had quite a few people call me when they left the school. And they asked me, well, Mr. Hubbard, what do you think what's the success magic formula? Well, right. It's no magic formula. I said, but you got to tell people what you do. I said, when I came back here, I had nobody but myself and my accountant. And we just started telling everybody what we did and asked if we could help them. Now, it's hard, or more difficult, I should say, if it's just one person. But you don't really have to have a lot of contacts. I mean, depending on what city you're in. I mean, would you believe this year alone, already, our city has already processed about $300 or $400 million already, maybe more. That's in apartment sales this year.
Wow.
So I tell people, I says, depending on what city you're in, I say, if you got some connection with the city, you can talk to the city. If you got connection with the church, you talk to the church. And that's what I think. I think my wife and I, we talked to a lot of churches when we first got back, trying to do some response with churches, and that's pretty much how we got it going. Because a lot of church, I mean, the backbone of every church is usually the small businessman or small business woman anyway.
Sure, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's true. So, it's a great place to meet a lot of successful people.
Yeah. So that's how I think we've been really good. And I just handpicked the agents. That's one thing I did. I handpicked the agents. And every now and then you'll get a few bad ones. But hey, at least one thing for sure. I've had those that try to be slick, those that try to be fast. Hey, they get caught. It don't take them long. They'll get caught, and I just drop them and go on to the next one. So,
Yep. Well, it's all right. So now let me ask you a couple of things here, kind of off topic questions. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready? All right. So just to get our viewers a little bit about your personality, which you.
Yeah, you know, I don't like to talk.
Yeah, you don't like to talk. Obviously, you don't like to talk. Is that you? Is that one of those deals? $20 deals?
Hello? Well, one of them crank calls.
So if you could sit down and meet with anybody for like 2 hours and pick their brain, dead or alive, anybody, who would it be? Who would it be?
Ooh, oh man. Well, I know Martin Luther King would be one.
Okay.
I know John F. Kennedy would be one. That would be tough. I wouldn't mind. I would love to sit down with Joe Biden, tell you the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that with Joe, after being in Congress for all these years, I think he would be an interesting character to talk to.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about something somebody wouldn't normally know about William Dr. Hubbard.
Well,
aside from this interview, what would they be amazed about learning about you? Just, it could be anything, personal wise.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that shocks people is, number one, my wife and I own our own cleaning company for 17 years.
Okay.
And so I've actually had 2 careers in my life. I've had this career, and I've had my cleaning company career.
Mhm.
So, but you put them two together, there's 40 plus. Yeah, I didn't realize until just recently. This is my 22nd year in this business right here.
Wow.
You know,
Congratulations.
I have two careers from when I started to when I came to y'all school, and when I came to your school, I branched in to do other things. So 22 years on one and 19 on the other. So that's 41 years right there. So
Wow.
yeah, and my wife and I've been together 47 years.
Wow. So, hey, at least you found a wife that loved you before you had all this money.
I pay the $5 every week.
You know what I mean?
Man,
It's a different story if you found a wife after you came through CCTG, because that's, you got to question. But she was before all this money.
Oh man, let me tell you what, it was amazing, man. I've been blessed. We got 9 grandkids, by the way. I want to tell you this.
Wow.
I think I had 2.
Right. I remember.
Right. We had 2.
You have 9 now.
I'm up to 9. And I told them 9 and no more.
So what do those Sundays look like, or holidays? It must be like.
Oh man, it is amazing, Chris. I tell you, my wife and I, we got our pictures just covers our whole house. I don't care what's going on. The pictures of the grandkids, and Christmas time is fun because all the kids come to the house. Mm-hmm. And my wife last year was the first year she was so afraid of this COVID. Mm-hmm. And she told everybody, just come, let the kids come, get the gifts, and go back home. That hurt her. That hurt me. I bet. But that's the first time in 40 years that has ever happened.
Wow. Wow.
But hopefully this year. Matter of fact, you know what? I need to tell you now. I may not. I'm gonna have to see what my doctors say, but I might not. And I hate this. Even though I paid last year to come to the conference, I don't know whether they're gonna let me come.
Well, I could tell you, yeah. I get it. I get it. I was just in Vegas 2 days. I was in and out for 2 days to kind of meet with the Caesar's Palace there to a month away. Everything is somewhat back to normal. Everybody's required to wear a mask inside the establishment.
Correct.
And so. I think most people feel like with the precautions everybody's taken, vaccines, that it's going to be okay. But, I'd love to see you there. You know that.
Oh man, let me tell you, my wife been on my case. She says that doctor ain't told you 2 months recovery. I said, yeah, I know.
Because of your procedure. Okay. Yeah. I see.
So anyway, I told her, I said, well, I got to go out there and see the sugar. Because I used to have a friend of mine that lived right around the corner from Sugar Ray Leonard in Maryland.
Yeah, we're having Sugar Ray Leonard. We're having Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm going to interview him on this podcast, actually.
Yes. So I'll let Scott know within the next week or so what the doctor tells me to do. But man, I tell you what.
How about this? I'll make a deal with you. If you come on out, I will arrange a personal meeting with you and Sugar Ray.
All right. Fantastic. That's all right. All right. Okay.
All right. Let's flip the script. Okay. What do you want to ask me? It could be anything. It could be what kind of hair gel I use. It doesn't matter what it is.
Well, I think the thing that I asked Scott or Joe, I'm not sure which one, but they were saying, Bill, we've had a good year. I said, really? So what do you think would be what do you consider the advantages that you've offered this year despite the pandemic?
When you say the advantage, do you mean
the number of kids or students coming to the school?
Oh yeah. What do I attribute that to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty easy question. So this year we made the Inc. 5,000 list again. Twice. Okay. So we're one of America's fastest growing private companies based on 2020, which was the year of the pandemic.
Right.
And what I attribute that to is people got fed up with their jobs. I mean,
Yeah.
So number one, as you know, this is a business you can work from home.
Yeah, that's true.
And people all of a sudden found themselves home. Some people found themselves without a job, and
Yes.
people just wanted to take control of their own destiny, right? They particularly think about it. Guys who own restaurants that all of a sudden a week later they're closed down.
Yeah.
And so they had to react. They had to motivate. Our model was actually the perfect. I hate to say this, and I don't want to brag, but I am. It's one of the perfect models,
Yeah.
with something with the pandemic, because what we saw is business owners need that demand went up for financing, right?
Right.
To not only grow, but for a lot of people just to survive.
Yeah.
And you could work this model from home. People were already sitting at home, or some people just had to find a model that flourished in something like this. So that's what we accredited to one of our largest years ever, because people had to rethink their lives and say, gee, is there a better option out there than what I'm doing now?
That's true. Yeah.
You know?
We had my wife and I was telling people last year was a good year for us. And they said, it was? I said, yeah, the pandemic I got more calls because of the pandemic
Right.
than I did without it.
Yeah, right,
and,
right.
And and so, like I said, I started today working on the this other church. I think the church helped me out a lot. I mean, I closed two church loans last year during the pandemic for about $5 million.
Okay, all right.
So so I had a decent year.
Did you get involved in any of the PPP, helping people with PPP?
I went through the whole training. I did everything. As a matter of fact, I got with one of the PPG ladies. She was an accountant. But when I got to the very end, after I went through all of that, I told myself, Bill, I think it'd be better for you to give these people to someone else. I thought that money was not reasonable enough.
They didn't pay out those commissions you want, the bigger commissions.
Yeah. So I had a graduate. A matter of fact, this lady, she graduated from the school, and she was in Alabama, and so we got to be friends. And I just sent all my referrals to her. I said, "This is what you do." I said, "You go ahead on." I said, I don't. I went through all that training, and
because Bill Hubbard can't be bothered with anything less than 6 or 7 zeros. Is that correct?
I said, man, I ain't gonna deal with that. Yeah, but it was good.
I love it. At least you're honest. I love it. I appreciate your honesty. All right. Any other questions you want to ask me?
No. You know what? I'm thrilled that we got the conference coming back up. That to me was something that I've been really looking forward to that. So I wasn't expecting having the surgery done, but I told my wife, I said, hey, I'm gonna try to get out there. Cause see now, since I had the surgery, my doctor don't want me to walk up and down these steps. And when you go to Vegas,
they got escalators, brother. They got escalators.
There you go. So I told my wife,
here. We don't do things half-ass.
That's right. So I told my wife, I said, baby, I ain't gotta do that much walking. She said, yes, you do.
All right, we'll tell you what this. If you should find yourself in a scenario where you have to walk upstairs, I'll give you my cell phone. I'll come and I'll just pick you up and bring you upstairs. How about that?
There you go.
You're right to the conference room.
That's right. There you go. Thank you.
All right. Well, listen, Bill. We've said a lot here. It's been my distinct pleasure to interview you. You're one of our it's a family. CCTG is a family. You're one of our family members, one of the original family members back in 11.
That's right.
And it's so glad just to still talk to you after all these years and see that you're doing well and you're doing good in the community.
Well, I've been blessed. I'm honored to have gone through the school. I've had dozens. I'm still waiting for my referral check that you promised me years ago. Hey, I think you remember, when I come out to the school, I always tell you, Chris, I done had about 5 more people call. So I think there's some kind of way in this envelope that you need to send me a little.
All right. Well, I'm going to surprise you. How about that? I'm going to surprise you. All right.
Yeah, I tell you, it's fun. I thought, and I tell the kids, because see, a lot of kids, they really are disturbed because they don't understand. I tell them, I said, look, there is no magic formula to this industry. There is no magic. I said, depending on where you live, depending on who you know, depending on who you come in contact with, all of those factors come into play. And the first year, truthfully, for most people, is probably the toughest year.
Sure. Absolutely. Because you're out there building that network.
Yeah. I said, so, I said, even my first year, I had a lot of deals come across my desk. I didn't close them, but they came across my desk. So if you get deals coming across your desk, at least that keeps you busy.
Sure.
And so, and then you close one or two.
And it takes a while to develop that instinct, right? Of separating the people that don't have any money in the bank at all to people that are real players. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well,
so I just tell people, I says, hey, my wife keep bugging me, but I tell her, I said, no, I got to go after them zeros.
Yeah, you can't be bothered with petty stuff like that.
That's right. That's
6
right.
7 zeros.
That's right. There you go. 7 zeros is where we got to go.
Well, listen, Bill, my pleasure. Thank you so much for being on this. And everybody, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I enjoyed it. And it was a pleasure for me to see an old friend again. I came through here a long time ago. So with that being said, thank you, everybody, for watching this. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we got the CCTG app for Android and iPhone. You can download that and see exclusive content. Bill, thank you.
Thank you.
And hopefully I'll see you in a month.
All right. Be blessed.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Be blessed.
There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. People always say, Chris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words, hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business.